let's go into the Knicks and let's go into the man himself, Jalen Brunson. Now, this is not. I want to say this. This is nothing against Jalen Brunson at all. I think Jalen Brunson is a very good young player. This might be the most lose-lose scenario of any free agent signing I've seen. In terms of the Knicks are going to sign him to I think they, by the look of it, with what they're doing, I think they're going to blow Dallas out of the water. I think they're going to sign him to 4-year 120, which is going to be like 30 mil a season. If it's not that, it's probably 4-year 110, which is the same market bridge as $27, $28 million a year. So you're signing Jalen Brunson to I think it's going to happen. While all the reports and what we're seeing from their trades and getting rid of salary, they are all in on Jalen Brunson. And being all in on Jalen Brunson is not the move to go down. And from a Dallas perspective, like we're talking about with these other teams, you lose Brunson, you do not have salary to go out and sign any potential replacements. And so you're stuck with Dinwiddie, Luka, you just brought in Christian Wood, you get Tim Hardaway Jr. back, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber. I don't know. I think they're going to lose Brunson for nothing, and they're going to get worse from a Dallas perspective, and the Knicks might get slightly better, but slightly better? They're going to go from 11th to 9th, maybe in the Eastern Conference. This might be the most lose-lose, and it's nothing to do with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's good, but it's got everything to do with Jalen Brunson, but not as a player. It's just the fight here between the Knicks and the Mavericks. It's the ultimate lose-lose for mine.
The Knicks will never fail to make me laugh to see how much effort they're going into. And a little part of me wants them to lose out on Brunson, but a little part of me also wants them to get their man, just for the Twitter that day if they miss out. Jalen Brunson made $1.8 million last year. And now, and I was laughing because $100 million is actually on the table. So just congrats to him, first and foremost, for a second-round pick. That often does a $100 million contract come across the table. So I think he'll go to New York. I don't know why you say no to that sort of money, first and foremost. And Dallas, Dallas are right up against the luxury tax. And last time I paid luxury tax was 2011 when they won the whole championship. And sure, they'd got Western Conference Finals, but God, you're still a few moves away.
They've got some bad contracts.
To lose him from nothing. They've got some really, really, really bad. Bertans' contract, oh my God, man.
Yeah, even Hardaway at 16, 17 mil or whatever. I know he's out injured. He's an okay player, but him, Bertans, it's just, Christian Wood is a reasonable contract at least, but it's not a great roster outside Luka, if I'm being honest.
It's no, in terms of star potential, but I mean, I do wonder what the Knicks end game. Jalen Brunson's a fine player, but he's 6 foot. Doesn't have, and if you're a smaller guard, look, someone 6 foot like Chris Paul, that's a Hall of Fame talent. So I don't really count. But even blokes like Kyle Lowry, Kyle's a tough defender in a way. He's a flawed general. He can run an offense. Jalen Brunson, he can pass, he can shoot from outside, but 6 foot, short arms. And you're going to be paying potentially 25 to 30 million. I guess that's what the Knicks do. And I don't know whether they just believe in this core of RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, and Julius Randle moving forward. But I just 100 million. You're going to obviously, and RJ Barrett's up for an extension as well. You just gave Julius Randle 100 million, so that's only $300 million in those guys who are fine play. Maybe RJ Barrett's a little bit better than them, and Julius Randle, maybe, let's just say this is an off-season, but I don't know. That's $300 million in those three players.
Yeah.
That's the Knicks, I guess. That's the Knicks.
Yeah, well, I guess the best option for them, I think, so if you bring in Brunson, then eventually someone becomes... someone wants out at another team. Maybe, I don't know who it is at this stage, but maybe there's a superstar out there that requests to trade out of their team. And then you get off Randall's contract some way or another and you free up room to be able to go for a superstar player, because then you might have a superstar player, RJ Barrett develops into your second guy and Brunson's your third guy. Maybe that is the plan for the next 2 or 3. The only thing I'll say about the Knicks and why I think they're going so hard at Jalen Brunson is the fact that I did an article on them the other day and I looked back at Knicks point guards for the last decade. and just like every year's a different point guard. So they had Kemba last year. They had like Elfrid Payton for 2 years. They tried some youngsters. They had Frank Ntilikina. They had Dennis Smith Jr. They had Emmanuel Mudiay. Remember when D Rose came for the first time in 2016 and labelled them a super team when they had him? I think their starting five was him, Courtney Lee, Melo, Porzingis, and Joakim Noah. And D Rose called them a super team, and they ended up with a 31-51 season. We had the Jeremy Lin period. We had Raymond Felton as a starting point guard. We're going all the way back to like Jason Kidd, I think, about a decade ago, when he was at the end of his career. Like they have tried all these different options at starting point guard over the last decade, and not one has been with the team for multiple years and been any good, really. So that's that's one of the reasons why Brunson, they're just like, okay, we are completely overpaying this guy, but we know that this guy is going to be, if we want, he's going to be on our team, which it looks like they want him for 4 years. At least they know he's going to be on the team for 4 years, and he's probably going to average 20 points a game as your starting point guard. It's not great for $30 million a year, but it's a hell of a lot better than any other point guard has done for the Knicks in the last decade. So that's